American returner. The High Flyers in the building. He's working on a couple of things. We've got some projects going on. He's going to be joining us in just a couple of moments. Of course, the Kings are on the road. They embark on a 4-game road trip. It starts tonight in Utah. Obviously, it's the easiest of the 4 games. There's no such thing as an easy game in the NBA, so that's probably the wrong choice of the words. But if you're to look at what the schedule looks like for the Sacramento Kings, you would certainly say this is the most gettable of the 4. They go to Houston on Saturday, Monday against Dallas, and then they finish up the road trip Wednesday in Denver before coming home for that big game next Friday night, that much anticipated game. The San Antonio Spurs, De'Aaron Fox, will be in town a week from Friday night. As for the Kings, it was fun to see Zach LaVine go off on Monday night. LaVine going for 42 points as the Kings dominating the Hornets, 130-88. They led by 20 at half. It got a little strange in that third quarter. It was not a good third quarter at all for Sacramento. 8 turnovers in the quarter. They let a 20-point lead get down to 9 points. Then we're starting to think, oh my goodness, is this getting away? Is this going to be perhaps the worst loss of the year? A Charlotte team that had just come off a 53-point beatdown in Portland a couple of nights ago. But then the Kings turned that thing around. And boy, Zach LaVine, we saw the best of Zach LaVine on Monday night. We saw the reason why the Kings not only made the trade to get him before the deadline, but had wanted him for years. We know that they had made a qualifying offer on him during Vladdy's regime as GM. Vivek Ranadive had liked him for a long time, and they finally were able to get him. And this is why they got him. I mean, 42 points, 16 of 19 from the field, 8 of 9 from three-point land. When he got it going, wow, there was no stopping him. And it just came out in a total floodgate in that fourth quarter. He got on a heater, a serious heater. And that was fun to watch. And it was great that it happened at home. The home crowd got to see the best of Zach. Now, the challenge, of course, is taking that out on the road, and how will the Kings be able to do that during the next 4 games? So Sacramento, with that win, they get back above 500. As you look at the Western Conference standings, the Kings now sitting at 29-28. As you analyze the standings here, you look at Phoenix, and boy, they played a tremendous game last night in Memphis, but lost in overtime, 150-149. So now they're trending the other direction, 27-31. But they're realistically the only team that can catch Sacramento for the top 10 for a play-in spot. So if that's the case, assuming things go as is, the Kings can really kind of only go up. I mean, as you look at it right now, the Mavs have the same amount of losses as Sacramento at 31-28. We know about all of their injuries right now with AD and everybody else banged up inside, Gafford and Lively and Powell. Kings get a chance at them on this road trip. A great chance to move into the 9th spot. Of course, the Warriors are playing great right now at 31-27. The Timberwolves got a huge win against OKC after being down by 20 points in the fourth quarter. That was a big-time win for the Timberwolves. They're at 32-27. They're in the 7th spot. And then the Clippers. I mean, the Kings are only 2 games behind the Clips right now for a top 6 spot. Now, they'd have to leapfrog 3 other teams. That might be the toughest part about it, but it's all bunched up. I mean, the Kings, if you're looking right now, their chances of trending up, I think, are better than trending down right now. I think, if anything, 10 feels like a bench line. Now, we're not saying that's great. We're not saying that's the ultimate prize this year for Sacramento, but at least it puts them in a play-in situation, a tough one, of course, because they would have to win 2 games to get into a number 8 seed and then take on Oklahoma City. I'm not saying I love that scenario, but, right now, I think 10 looks like a baseline to me. Want to know your thoughts on that? We're going to be with you until 5:30 tonight, getting you ready for Kings Live pregame. And, of course, a 6 o'clock tip tonight at the Delta Center in Salt Lake City as the Kings are taking on a Jazz team. This is one thing that is for sure. Even though there is still 25 games left in the season, the Jazz are in a full lottery mode right now. They're going to be missing a ton of people. They're just 14-43. They are not going to make a run. And the only run they're trying to make right now is for possibly the number 1 pick in the upcoming draft. If you want to give us a call, please do so at 916-339-1140. We'd love to hear from you. 1-800-920-1140. You can text us there as well. We're fully up and running in our YouTube chat as well. Check us out there. We'll be talking there throughout the break also. Going back to Monday night, the one thing that is troubling for the Kings and the one thing that they've got to figure out how to get better at are just these turnovers. The turnovers have been a real problem for the Sacramento Kings. 18 more of them on Monday night. We saw that spell in the third quarter where they had 8 alone. It allowed Charlotte to get back in the game. And I'm not sure what the long-term issue or solution is there. Malik Monk had 5 turnovers on Monday night. Sabonis, uncharacteristically, was really careless with the basketball. 4 more turnovers of their own. Zach LaVine had 3. The numbers are too high. Obviously, coming off the bench, Markelle Fultz, who has brought some great energy, but he had 3 turnovers of his own. Sacramento's got to be better in that category if they're realistically going to push for a play-in and a chance to get back in a playoff scenario. So we want to see that. Doug Christie threw out, he wants to see 50 3-point shots a game. Kings put up 38 on Monday night. Now, they made 20 of them terrific, and of course, in large part because of what LaVine did, 8 of 9 from beyond the arc. But we'll see if the Kings consistently put up some more 3-pointers this year. And then Keon Ellis, we'll find out about his availability tonight. He got banged up in the game, did not play in the second half of that one. All right, we've got the high flyer back. Henry, you're all over the place here in the Sacktown studio.
Oh, man, I'm one of the hardest working men in show business, Scott.
That's what I always say.
Hey, I'm trying to be like you, baby. I'm trying to jet set, get all the commercials and endorsements I can, man. Try to get it done.
Living the good life.
Yes, sir.
La Vida Loca. All right, your takeaway from Monday. Obviously, it was great to see Zach LaVine finally be Zach in Sacktown.
Right. Finally get a chance to see him come out and have a very high productive basketball game. That's the Zach LaVine that everybody was looking for, trying to say, okay, really, who did we get rid of De'Aaron for if you didn't know who Zach LaVine was? Yeah. Finally got a chance to see what he could do on the offensive end.
Is it too early to start calling it Zachtown? You've got your Sacktown sweatshirt on.
You know what? Hey, whatever you want to call it, you know what? If it makes him as comfortable as he was the other night, the way he was lacing up for 3, Zachtown, whatever else you want to put Zach on, call it what you see it.
That happened in a hurry. I mean, that escalated quickly for Zach LaVine.
You know what? After he hit that second one, Scott, I seen it. You seen a different swag. You seen a different bounce. You know when your guy has it going. All of a sudden when he started taking the step back threes, pump fake, side step 3, and they're just hitting bottoms.
Yeah.
You're like, oh yeah, he got it going. Let's feed the monster right now.
Yeah, no doubt. He was a monster, and his shot is so pretty when it's going. And we're not going to see that obviously every night from Zach LaVine, but we know he came over from Chicago. He was a 45% 3-point shooter. We hadn't seen the best of Zach prior to Monday night. Hopefully more of the baseline is going to be the upward trend for him.
You know what, Scooter? I still want to see him play at a very high level. Like you said, we know that he's not going to be that Herculean on the 3-point range every night. But, we want to see some resemblance of a good 3-point shooter. Yeah,
no doubt. And as great as this win was, and it was, a 42-point win, we'll take that any day, anyway, anytime. Putting in a little context, Charlotte last night got blown out at Golden State.
Mm-hmm.
They become the only team in league history to lose 3 straight games by 35 points or more. They lost in Portland by 53. We blew them out on Monday night by 42. And I'm going to pull up that score from last night real quickly, too, in Golden State, because they got absolutely blown out on the second night of the back-to-back. The score in Golden State, as the Warriors are rolling, was 128-92.
Well, Scooter, I mean, they are a team that's been ravished with injuries. They haven't had their core guys out there on the floor probably ever this year. And, just now getting, Melo back, and even he's up and down.
Yeah, and the Kings did a great job defensively.
Yeah. Even he's up and down. He didn't have a very good game against us. I think the Sacramento Kings really took advantage of that type of situation. I would say, Scott, that game was almost textbook.
Yes.
If it wasn't for the third quarter, I would say yes. From the jump ball all the way through, the Kings got a textbook win. But I have to say that third quarter, when they start turning the basketball over and Charlotte started making a little run, and which all teams do.
Sure.
All basketball games have ebbs and flows. But that was the type of night to where Charlotte didn't force the Kings into turnovers. That felt
self-inflicted.
The Kings just turned the basketball over.
Yeah, it felt definitely on the Kings' own doing right there. And that was, of course, the point. And I know you made it on the postgame show too. If this wasn't a team like Charlotte, what was a 20-point lead that went down to 9 might have been an opposing team's lead going into the fourth quarter.
And let me tell you, Scott, we've seen worse things happen in the NBA. A 20-point lead in today's NBA means nothing.
Yep.
Nothing. And I'm talking even with 5 minutes left.
Well, look what Minnesota did against Oklahoma City.
It means nothing because that 3-point line is such a weapon.
Yeah.
You get a couple of stops and a couple of threes to drop, you're right back in the game.
Yeah, it's the ultimate equalizer, that's for sure. In terms of all these turnovers, they've been a constant thread here, obviously. Is there hope in store that the Kings can get this under control?
They're going to have to. They're going to have to. If the Sacramento Kings have any type of acclamation of still trying to, make the playoffs, whether it's via the play in or just trying to, hit a spurt and try to get in by themselves, turning the basketball over isn't the way to do it. That's a recipe for destruction. When you turn the basketball over, especially at the rate that the Kings do, you're not going to go too far.
Hopefully they can. Obviously, Malik's done a lot of good things. The turnovers have gone up for him. He had 10 assists on Monday night, so it's hard to get on Malik too much for those 5 turnovers.
Why are we pointing the finger towards Malik?
No, I'm just saying in terms of the 18 turnovers, he had 5 of them.
Hey, it's the whole team. Zach's turning the ball over.
Yeah.
DeMar's turning the ball over.
Sabonis turned it over.
Sabonis has turned it over. Keegan's turned it. Everybody on that roster has turned the basketball over. So, really don't point the finger or give the onus only on one guy. It's the whole team. They have to come out collectively and say, we have to be more careful with the ball.
No doubt. We're still waiting to hear about Keon. We'll have an update later on in our Ginger and Hammer injury report. He is listed as questionable for tonight. We do know that Utah is missing a ton of players as the Jazz, again, are really more about the NBA draft coming up in July or June, versus trying to make a playoff push here. All right, game night's underway here. As always, game night being brought to you by our good friends over at the Big Brothers and Big Sisters of Sacramento. If you have a heart of service, you want to do something good in our community, helping out a child who needs an outside mentor in their lives is a great, great cause. For more information, just go to bbbs-sac.org. For more information, bbbs-sac.org. Get all your information there. Game night right here, Sacktown Sports 1140.
All right, we are live on YouTube.
All right, so what are we doing, Anthony? How are we going, buddy?
We're doing great. Coming off that win, I'm having a great time watching this team. I'm having a great time watching Zach LaVine. I'm so used to teams having get-back games against the Kings. I'm so happy that a player on the Kings can get a get-back game against another team, and I'm just riding that high right now.
Well, it was fun to see LaVine because I think some fans were questioning, okay, we've heard about Zach LaVine and how explosive he is as a scorer. We haven't seen it since he's come to Sacramento. We saw it on Monday night for sure.
Yeah, I think it's understandable to be questionable, like looking at Chicago and how not so well they'd been doing. And it's understandable to be iffy, especially losing De'Aaron and everything that happened there. But I'm happy that we're here, wherever we're at. Like, it's okay. I'm trying to move past all the rest.
That's fine. The Kings 29-28, as I was going through this high flyer, you look at the standings, in terms of where they're at in the 10 spot right now. And again, that's, the last spot in the play-in. The 3 games up against the Suns, who lost a heartbreaker last night in Memphis in overtime, 27-31. it feels like Phoenix is really, I don't think the Trailblazers can catch them. I don't feel like the Spurs can. I certainly know that the Pelicans and Jazz won't. So I feel like the baseline is 10. It's all bunched up between 6 and 10 right now. So to me, it feels like where we're at in the season right now, the Kings have a much better chance of moving up than moving down, with the caveat of maybe the Suns, they're playing Bradley Beal back in the starting lineup. Maybe they'll get it going again. I mean, they've lost 8 of 10.
Well, the Kings have to take care of their own business.
True.
I hate being in the situation, Scott, to where you have to go out and you have to take care of your business, but also you're looking at other teams and hoping that they can help you further yourself in the standings. I can't stand that, because, you're sitting there watching, trying to take care of your business, but you also scoreboard watching, saying, come on, Dallas. Come on, Phoenix, trying to let other teams help you along the way. I'm in the mindset of taking care of your own business, take control of your own destiny.
Yeah. And that's what the Kings have to do. And obviously it starts tonight, and you've got to take care of business in Utah, obviously.
Another perfect storm for Sacramento. They're walking into Utah. Utah is sorely undermanned. Sounds like Charlotte that we just played.
Yep.
All right. They're not having a particular good season. Still sounds like Charlotte. They've been losing basketball games at a big time rate. Kings have a perfect storm. Another team to where Kings need to get all the wins they can. You're going up against a team that's struggling. You're going up against a team that don't have all of their players. Take advantage.
Yeah, we'll go through that later on the show. Welcome back to Game Night right here, Sacktown Sports 1140. Scott Marshall on with the High Flyer Henry Turner. Some good conversation in our YouTube chat during the break. We always encourage you to go there and subscribe if you haven't already to our Sacktown Sports YouTube page. We appreciate everybody listening, whether they're on their mobile app, they're in their car, wherever you're at. We appreciate you listening to Sacktown Sports and Game Night. And again, what a beautiful day. What a beautiful week it's been so far here in Sacramento. Spring is around the corner. You know what, Scooter? Whenever it's not raining outside and, you have some sunshine and, you can just stand outside and look up to the sky and see the sun, see the birds flying. It's a great day. Sacramento is made for good weather. Whenever it's storming outside, man, I'm dreary. I'm down. I tell you, it affects everything, no doubt. It was great on Friday night, by the way. Our viewing party at Tom's Watch Bar was off the charts. Great to see so many people come out and say hi. So thanks for doing that. We'll have more out there. We'll get you updated on all of that for the remainder of the season as well. Again, Game Night brought to you by Mercedes-Benz of Stockton. Check out the full line of luxury vehicles at mbfstockton.com. All right. Kings have to take care of their own business. We understand that. How are you assessing the Western Conference right now as we're about 25 games left to go? Boy, it's bunched up. It is. It really is. It is bunched up, and it's bunched up at the bottom. Pretty much 1 through 5 can say, okay, they're pretty much solidified. But it's the bottom bunch that, it's going to be a dogfight. It's going to take a lot to get out of that 5 through 10 spot. No doubt about that. And the Mavs right now seem like the team that might be the one chasing, although they've played well even without AD and all the issues. We'll get into the game last night, obviously the marquee game in the league, maybe the game of the regular season so far with the Lakers and Luka hosting the Mavs. We'll talk about that in our next segment. Let's go down this Kings roster a little bit. We mentioned Keon got banged up Monday night, didn't play the second half, and that's exactly why they got Markelle Fultz. And it's good to see Markelle playing 18 minutes active. I mean, he did have 3 turnovers, but he also had a nice night contributing for the Sacramento Kings. Here's where we are with Markelle Fultz, Scott. He had three steals. High energy guy, a guy that's willing to do the dirty work. Because Markelle Fultz was on with us after the game, and actually I had a chance to talk to the young man before the game, and he has the sentiment of, number one, he's been through a lot his early career.
Number two, he's just happy to be out there on the basketball floor
for sure.
and really understands the value of playing in the NBA and understand the value of being able to make a living playing a game. He really gets it. It's very rare when you have a number one consensus overall pick that really looks at the basketball and says, you know what, it's a blessing for me to be here, because 9 times out of 10, those guys really have some sense of entitlement. Well, I belong here. I was the number one pick. I'm supposed to be in the NBA. He doesn't have that. He understands that with everything that he's been through, he's lucky to still be able to have a chance to step out on that floor.
No doubt the NBA's beaten him down, and he is still standing. I give him a lot of credit for still standing, and at just 26 years of age and fully healthy, who knows what his upside might be. And as I had mentioned to you, I ran into his brother Jordan walking into the arena back before the Golden State game, and just was great talking to him. And he was just saying how Markel, to your point, so thankful to be here in Sacramento, is fully healthy and really looking to jumpstart his career.
And I will say this too, Scott, when you have a consensus number one, the dude has talent. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
To be the first overall pick, you got to have some sort of game. You got to have some sort of success on a basketball court. It wasn't just one team said, "Ooh, Markel, folks, we're going to take him." No, he was the consistent number one, and it was a lot of other teams that would have taken him if they had that pick.
Yeah, for sure. And the Kings now, they may need him for a little bit based on how Keon is. We'll see if he plays tonight. Again, listed as questionable for this game. But I think the one thing is really apparent to me. The one things that the Kings did, and credit to the organization, it's a much deeper roster than it was before the trade deadline.
Yeah, I would say that. And I would say this too, Scott. They upgraded the bench with guys who are willing to be bench participants. You got that?
Yeah.
Bench participants. Guys who don't mind diving on the floor.
Yep.
Guys who don't mind the hustle. Guys that don't mind getting the steals, the deflections. Guys that don't mind doing the brunt work. They have a bench full of those guys now.
No doubt. And we are learning Keon Ellis will be available tonight. So that's good news for the Kings, that that ankle injury is not seemingly anything that is any concern that he will be able to play tonight. But to the point, I mean, you've got Keon coming off the bench. You have Jonas Valanciunas, who can start in this league. Now you've got Jake LaRavia, who can contribute and got the defensive player of the game on Monday night. Trey Lyles, who is losing some minutes, but comes in and goes 3 from 3 from the field and hits a couple of threes. So, and Markel Fultz, we'll see where he fits in with the whole deal. But at least Doug now can go 9, 10 deep.
Yeah,
if he wants.
The one thing that I still think the Sacramento Kings are missing on, is utilizing Valanciunas down low.
Mm-hmm.
This guy is not Alex Lynn, Scott.
No,
he's a guy that can legitimately score. Okay, if you want to go back to just last year when he was with New Orleans, did we forget the buckets he gave us?
I hope not. We saw it 6 times.
I mean, he really, showed up and showed out every time that he saw a Sacramento Kings uniform. So he's a guy that when you take Sabonis out and put him in the game, it might be a situation where you need to slow down and run a methodical type offense and give that man the ball down low and see if he can give you something.
No doubt. And I think there will be times that that will definitely happen throughout the remainder. And I think we will see Domas and Jonas together a little more throughout the season too.
I like the high-low type game. But once again, Scott, you have to start thinking about slowing the ball down. Stop trying to be so fast. I know the Kings want this high octane, let's run. But at some particular point, and really with this team now, since turnovers has been at a serious height, you might want to slow down a little bit and do something a little more methodical. Yeah, and that brings a great question. What is the identity of the Kings team right now? Do they know what it is? I still think it's up in the air. Yeah. I still think, because, you have 2 players that have come from an organization to where it was always a set play being called. That's DeMar and Zach. in Chicago, a set play was called every time. All right. Now, I don't know about Valanciunas, but I do know when Valanciunas was in Canada, they ran a set offense.
Right.
So he's another big guy to where, he probably could run the read and react, but he's better off suited in the methodical screen, pick and roll, put him down at the bottom of the paint and let him go to work type system.
Yeah, I think it's all in flux here, and we'll see how these finals games play out. Obviously, it's a 4-game road trip for the Kings. Starts tonight in Utah. Hopefully they get off on the right note. All right, we've got to take a break. When we come back, we're going to go around the league. We know that last night it was all about the Lake Show and what was going down at Crypto as the Mavs came into town. We'll talk about that. Luka, a triple-double against his former teams. We'll talk on that. Of course, get you caught up on all the other games going on tonight as well, all the other news and notes. It's game night right here, Sacktown Sports 1140.
All right, we are back live on YouTube.
All right, what do we got going on in the chat this afternoon?
Got some people excited to see JV and Sabonis play together some more. I think it's a fun lineup. A lot of people like that. And yeah, I think some people are getting excited for the Spurs game as well. There's a lot of chatter about that. There's always going to be talk about that.
Right now, is De'Aaron going to play or not? What do you think?
Yes, okay. I hope so.
All right.
I'd be very disappointed if De'Aaron didn't play.
What do you think, High Flyer?
I think he's going to play. The bigger question is, Scott, how loud is he going to get booed?
What do you think? What's the percentage cheers to boos?
Oh, he going to get booed.
Yeah. Well, just on Monday night when they put up the next game.
You seen that too, huh?
Oh, yeah. I heard it.
He going to get booed.
Yeah, I heard that.
If you was at the Sacramento Kings game against Charlotte at the end, because they always put up
next game.
The preview in next game.
Yeah.
So when that picture popped up on the screen, and and I'm gonna throw it out there, Scott.
Yeah.
Section 106, 105, 104, 103. They got to be some of the ruthless Sacramento Kings fans because that side lit up. Boo!
And we're there because our broadcast section's right over there.
Right. They booed heavy.
Yeah. And that's just a little prelude, right?
Right. That's just a little prelude because watching him warm up and then when he comes out. Now, is the organization going to do something special for De'Aaron?
There's no doubt at the end of that first break, they'll have the video like they always customarily do.
Yes, but for him straight out the gate, it's going to be some boos.
Yeah, I think so too. I think there definitely will be the way things eventually all shaked out at the end. So that will be very, very interesting. That's going to be a must-watch game, no doubt about it. That'll be national attention. Of course, AD coming back to LA last night. He got a nice ovation when they did his video tribute.
Yeah, he was in street clothes, though.
He was. True. A little different.
I tell you what, I know it was the marquee game, but it ain't going to be nothing close to when they go back to Dallas.
Oh, it's warm up.
Now,
absolutely.
Now that's good. Now that's going to be
the game of the year.
See
that's
TV.
The game of the year. There is no doubt about that. I think it's late in the year too. I want to say that game.
It's in April.
Yeah, April 9th. Yeah, so that is a must-watch game in the NBA. No doubt about that. And when we come back on air, we'll break this down a little bit much more. All right.
EKHD.
Welcome back into game night right here, Sacktown Sports 1140. Scott Marsh along with the High Flyer Henry Turner. We're halfway through. We'll take you until 5:30 tonight. Get you ready. Kings and Jazz, a Utah team you may not recognize out there tonight. A lot of starters missing. We'll run through the injury report in our next segment. We want to go around the league now. Of course, game night always brought to you by the big brothers and big sisters of Sacramento. I'm telling you, this is a great organization. It's a total nonprofit that the High Flyer and myself fully endorse. If you're looking to make a difference in our community, you want to help out a kid who needs an outside mentor, maybe they come from a single parent household, could use some outside mentoring, this is a great way to do it. Check out how you can become a volunteer mentor, go to bbbs-sac.org, bbbs-sac.org. All right, let's go around the league. All right, we've been talking about this for a little while now, but we finally saw part one, the Mavs back in LA. It's only the appetizer to the main course when Luka goes to Dallas. Understand that. No AD playing last night, but still, it was Luka against his former teammates. Luka goes out, maybe didn't shoot it great, had a triple-double. Lakers win. And I tell you what, I mean, this Laker team, they're looking pretty good. You got to give them some props.
They're looking good. And you know, I've always said this, Scott, as long as LeBron is engaged, the Lakers have a chance. And it seems like him getting Luka, he's rejuvenated. Yeah. You know, he's playing like he's still 30 years old. You know, the dude is still playing at a very high level. And, you know, Luka's coming out. He's doing his thing. The number one thing is going to be when they go back to Dallas.
Oh, man.
I just want to make sure Luka's playing.
He better be playing.
I just want to make sure he's playing.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, but if we're playing at the same time, I might have to call out sick because that's a game that's must-see TV.
No doubt. That game's on April 9th. I want to say the Kings play that night.
I'm about to be sure,
check out that
I'm about to be sure right
schedule.
now.
But Luka last night had 19 points, 15 rebounds, and 12 assists.
It's April what?
April 9th, I want to say. We'll confirm on that.
Oh, yeah. We're playing Denver.
Yep.
We're playing Denver. So
Anthony, do I have that right?
I'm starting to feel
yes, you do. You do
already.
have that right.
You got some Luka-itis?
Yeah.
So Luka last night, how about this stat? Of course, Luka being with the Mavs his entire career, he's never had a triple-double against the Mavs before, right?
Right.
So that's the only team he's never had a triple-double against. So now he's got a triple-dub against every
All
team
30.
in the league. There's only two other players who have ever done that.
I've seen that.
Yeah. You want to tell
that.
us who? Do you remember?
Well, his teammate.
Yes, LeBron.
Old man Bronny James.
Yes, yep.
And then Mr. Triple-Double himself, Russell Westbrook.
Yep, absolutely. So pretty sweet accomplishment.
I mean,
for a 25-year-old.
And can you imagine this? This is probably one of the first stats that we've talked about that didn't have Wilt.
Exactly.
Wilt and Michael.
No doubt. That is so true. Speaking of LeBron, 27 points, 7 of 9 in the fourth quarter to seal that win. And as you look at the Western Conference standings right now, the Lakers are 35-21. They're only one game back in the loss column of both the Grizz and the Nuggets.
Yeah, right there.
They're right there.
Right there. And they're playing good basketball right now. So that's the scary thing. Any team that's playing good ball right now is a scary basketball club.
Yeah, they've won 8 of 10, 3 in a row. The Nuggets are playing great too. They've won 9 of 10 right now. The Thunder have won 8 of 10. So the top teams in the conference are all playing pretty good right now.
Been balling. I mean, and the Thunder just been rolling from the start.
Yeah, and that's why it was so shocking. Minnesota came back against them to get that win in OKC.
Well,
it happens occasionally.
They have a huge selection of equity that they can pull from and say, okay, that was just a game.
Yeah.
You know, they can have a few of those and still be okay. It's the other teams that really have to be locked in and don't have those oopsie type games.
How about that block by the Ant-Man on Shea for the game winning block? I mean, that was sweet.
Hey, Ant-Man is the next coming. He is the next coming to the superstar that they're going to pass the torch to. This young man really relishes that type of moniker. When you ask him, is he the guy? He tells you straight out, oh, hell yeah. I'm him.
He's got the moxie, no doubt about it. Who's the better player right now, Ant or Shea?
Shea by far.
By far.
Shea by far.
Wow.
Because Ant has been inconsistent. Shea has been there every single night with what he does.
Is Shea the MVP?
For sure.
No doubt about it.
You know what? It's going to be hard for Jokic to go 4.
Yeah. I agree with you, by the way. I think SGA is too.
It's going to be hard for Jokic to go 4 because it was hard for him to go 2 and then 3. You know, because, you know, they was hating on him big time. Yeah. It's hard not to give it to a guy who won it last year and he's having a better year this year.
Yep.
But he's done that the last 2 years, and people was trying to find ways not to give it to him. So with Shea playing the way that he's playing and where his team is, I can pretty much see him getting the MVP.
Agreed. Last night we talked about the Suns losing in overtime against the Grizz, 151 to 148. Ja went off in that game. The Grizz are the only team to score 150 points this year, and they've done it twice.
Yeah, they're my dark horse. The Grizz are my dark horse. I really feel like they have enough to get out. They really do. You know, we know OKC, what they're doing, right?
Yep.
I'm looking at Denver, saying Denver has enough, long as they're playing the way they need to at the end in Memphis.
I think they do too. In the top four in the Western Conference, it's shaping up really interesting. And of course, we can't forget the Rockets. They're right there as well. They've been falling.
I don't think the Rockets have enough to get there.
Yeah.
You know, they're definitely going to make the playoffs.
Sure.
Can have a good run in the playoffs. But
I think those top four have separated themselves.
Yes. To get to the championship, to be able to come out of the West, I don't think they have enough.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that as well. As for the Phoenix Suns, I threw out there earlier, kind of the Kings in that 10 seed. I feel like that's kind of a basement for them. I guess Phoenix is the one team that could still maybe move into a top 10. They've got Bradley Beal starting again. What do you make of the Suns? They haven't played well of late.
Scott, the Suns have to show me. They've struggled so mightily, even with, and this is crazy, even with an all-star player in Book, an all-star player in Bradley Beal, and a first ballot Hall of Famer in Kevin Durant. Why this team it's not working?
It's hard
Why
to figure.
it's not working. You have a big time dominant point guard, you have an all-star 2 and a Hall of Fame 3, and you can't make it work. That's the big question.
Yeah, and they even went out and got Tyus Jones. I mean, they secured the point guard position.
And you're being coached by a coach that has a championship.
Right. They brought in Budenholzer.
Yeah, Coach Bud is a good coach.
He is.
What is it that they're missing?
What do you think it is?
I don't know. I have no idea. Because I would think that even if you don't have enough to make it to the dance, you have enough to go to the party. And it's like, they might be struggling not to even get there. Think about it. We're talking about they're out the top 10.
No doubt. And there were some people who thought they're the best team in the conference coming into
Right.
the year.
Right. If you just look at it on paper, you look at Phoenix and say, oh, yeah, they definitely got enough to come out. Well, it hasn't shown.
No, it hasn't. So that makes it really interesting, especially as it pertains to the Kings, because really they're kind of the biggest threat to Sacramento, I would say, at least being in a play-in scenario right now. All right, let's go to the scoreboard tonight, get you caught up on the games that are currently going on in the association. Games in progress right now. You've got the Pistons and the Celtics tied at 55 apiece. How about Detroit? Detroit.
Coming up big.
Basketball.
Let me tell you.
7 in a row.
Scott, I am happy for all the Detroit Pistons and their fans, because for the last, let's say, 3 years, they have been the laughing stock of the NBA. And these guys have come together. They have played enough together. They have figured out that, okay, we could play at this level, because, come on, man, Detroit was almost at the college level for a minute.
No.
I mean, they couldn't win a game. So now
worst record in league history.
They didn't figured it out, and they're having some success. I salute them.
No doubt. And you know what's really so fascinating about it? I mean, they go out and they sign Monty Williams to the incredible coaching contract, right? And everybody loves Monty Williams, and of course got let go in Phoenix, signed a multi-year deal in Detroit, 5 or 6 years. He gets let go after 1 year.
That's crazy.
1 year.
Crazy.
You bring in JB Bickerstaff, who got let go in Cleveland. A lot of people thought he did a terrific job in Cleveland, gets let go. And now JB Bickerstaff's doing an amazing job in Detroit. And then you got Kenny Atkinson, who's over with Cleveland, and he's probably going to be coach of the year.
Right.
Or could be.
I mean, it's just funny how they bounce around. And, you know, I honestly think that Monty Williams will get another job somewhere, you know, and I think Monty should get a job, because I think he does a great job with cultivating talent, cultivating young talent, bringing guys in, showing guys how to be NBA players. I think he does a great job at that. But, you know, It just didn't work in Detroit. And like I said, I was shocked when they let him go just with
So fast.
1 year.
No doubt. All right. At halftime, the Pacers leading the Raptors. Indiana continues to play great basketball. They're 32-24. Now, the Sixers, their season's over. They are not going to make the playoffs. They're losing in New York 57-43. Embiid, we'll see when he elects to shut that down. Trailblazers and the Wizards. Portland on top right now, 53-48. You've got the Nets and the Thunder. Right now, Brooklyn 42, OKC 35. Hawks and Heat right now, 32-28 in that game. Miami on top later on tonight. Clippers and the Bulls. You've got the Spurs and the Rockets. Of course, Houston will be the next destination for Sacramento. They will be there on Saturday. And the game we're going to focus in on when we come back, the Kings and the Jazz. All right, game night. It's being brought to you by our good friends at Power Business Technology. Experience for yourself how the Power of Family can help you with all your business copier needs. Give them a call today, 1-844-POWER-BZ, or go to powercopiers.com. More of Game Night right here, Sacktown Sports, 1140.
All right, we are live on YouTube.
All right, what's the latest?
You know,
People chiming in about De'Aaron, whether he's going to get booed or not.
Someone was in section 106 and said that they're going to boo during the video too.
Whoa.
So getting ready for it, full of hate in the comments right now.
I can't hate. I just can't hate on this one. I mean,
I don't think
De'Aaron is deserving a booze. I don't like it.
You know, it's tough. It really is tough.
It's complicated.
Yeah. Because
it's like any long-term relationship that doesn't work out.
I can definitely see how our fans would think that De'Aaron deserved to be booed, but they don't know all the inner workings. Let's put it that way.
Would it change their minds? Would they care? I mean, I don't know what they are either. So
I think it would.
Okay.
I think it would.
Yeah.
You know, if you just listen to what, you know, De'Aaron said.
Yep.
Because he did call and he did reach out to people and he did get his word and get his thought out. If you really paid attention to what was said, I think you would change your mind about how you feel about De'Aaron.
Yeah, and I think that's completely possible. So, all right. What else is in the chat? What else we got going on? People fired up about the Jazz tonight?
You know, there's some pessimism that I don't like, that I'm not even going to give attention to.
Okay.
But, you know.
Well, the Jazz gave Portland a run the other night.
Yeah, but, you know, I'm just trying to be optimistic about this team as best as possible, especially with all the weird stuff going on with the De'Aaron boos.
Yeah,
and,
okay.
You know.
Fair enough.
Yeah, that's what's going on.
All right. Well, I mean, Portland only beat Utah 114-112, and this was a Jazz team that, again, did not play Markkanen, did not play Colin Sexton. You know, Jordan Clarkson didn't play. And none of those guys are playing tonight either. So, I mean, the Jazz are a team, unlike Charlotte, that can be competitive without their main guys. I mean, Charlotte wasn't competitive the other night, really.
The thing that gets me, Scott, is that a wounded team is a scary team.
Yep.
Because when you bag a wounded dog into a corner, you never know what you're going to get that's going to come out that corner, because whatever comes out is going to be 10 times as strong as it would be because it's feeling desperate. And I feel the same way when you play against a basketball team that all the regulars are gone. And you got all the others who are trying to make a name for themselves that come out and give Herculean efforts. And that's a scary team. I'm telling you.
Oh, true. No doubt about it. I mean, there's guys who are trying to make their mark. And as we always say, they're in the NBA for a reason.
Yeah.
So. Welcome back in the game now right here, Sacktown Sports, 1140, getting you ready for the Kings and the Jazz, 6 o'clock tip from the Delta Center. I like that that's gone back to the Delta Center. It was the Delta Center back in the days
for
of
so
Malone
long.
and Stockton.
Yes.
And then it was Vivid Home Malone or Center, and then they had other names. It's always the Delta Center.
You know what? That was kind of like Power Balance Pavilion.
Yeah, this is the house that Malone built.
Yeah.
Malone and Stockton.
Sleep Train Arena.
Yeah.
No,
that was always Arco.
It's Arco, exactly.
It was always Arco over there, just like it's the Golden One Center now.
G1, that's right.
Yeah, no doubt about it. All right. Want to mention a new sponsor to game night. Henry, I know you really like Howard Gumbo.
That's my spot, bro. Every time I get a chance, I get over there. I am a fried catfish and $5 box of gumbo guy.
I love it. I got to get over there with you. I want to meet the Howard family. They're located 2120 Marconi Avenue, open Thursday and Friday, 11 to 8, Saturday and Sunday, 2 to 8. Go check out Howard Gumbo, the best place in Sacramento to get yourself some gumbo. All right, let's get to the injury report for tonight's contest. It's brought to you by the law firm of Gingery Hammer and Associates. Anthony, it's going to take you a while to get through Utah's. Good news on the Kings front, though. We'll start with that first.
Yeah, definitely. So Keon is available, thankfully. A little bit of extra information. Devin Carter, Isaiah Crawford, and Isaac Jones are on G League assignment, so they will not be here. Then the Jazz, the long list. Once again, I think it might be easier to list who is playing.
Exactly.
But John Collins is out with a lower back injury. Elijah Harkless is out on a G League assignment. Taylor Hendricks is out with a right fibula fracture. Walker Kessler is available.
Oh, okay. He's been upgraded.
Yeah, he got upgraded to available. He was just sick. Laurie Markkinen is out with a lower back injury. Micah Potter is out on G League assignment. Colin Sexton is out with a left ankle sprain, and Oscar Shebwe is
Shebwe. He's the big rebounder out of Kentucky,
and he is on G League assignment, so he will not be there.
So Clarkson's available.
He's not even listed on here.
Okay, because he did not play against the Trailblazers. It just said left plantar fasciitis injury management. You remember when plantar fasciitis was the term you used when you're just not playing a guy?
Right.
It just was, he's got plantar fasciitis. He's not playing tonight.
Right, or swollen knee.
Yeah, there you go. Knee swelling.
Mm-hmm.
So, but anyway, so Clarkson will play. Walker Kessler is going to play. But no Collins, no Markkinen, no Sexton. Obviously, this is a Jazz team that's banged up. They're 14 and 43. Again, they're playing for next year at this point.
Right. I mean, they're definitely depleted, but still, Scott, they're NBA team. Yep. And I don't care how much the organization may be playing for the lottery and a draft pick. Nobody that's in that uniform is playing for a draft pick. They are trying to play at the highest level that they possibly can because they still trying to solidify themselves in the NBA. So the Kings can't walk in and say, oh, they're down. Main guys ain't playing. They're going to give us this game. You have to come out and take care of business exactly the same way you did against Charlotte.
No doubt. This is a Jazz team that beat the Lakers. You know, we said Lakers won of 8 of 10. One of their losses was in Utah.
So that shows it can be done.
It can be done. So obviously the Kings have to be ready for this one. We'll break down the matchups. Let's first go to the line. 10. You've been waiting patiently to get on the show. How are you, my friend, tonight?
Thank you, Scott Marsh. I'm good. My friends tonight. Good. Not much on my mind. I think that with the mention of Devin Carter, really happy to see him hit a three-pointer last matchup. That was very encouraging. I didn't know that they can just bounce from the assignment to the pros just like that. You know, just hop on the
Yes.
with the team, travel with them.
So Tim, just to clarify on that, since Devin Carter has an NBA contract, they can move him down. He can play as many games in the G League as he wants. For the players who are on G League contracts, they can only play so many games at the NBA level during a season, or they have to sign them to a NBA contract. So go ahead, Tim.
Okay.
Anything else you wanted to say?
I think that's it.
That's it. All right, Tim, thanks for the call. Appreciate that. Henry, what are your thoughts right now with Devin Carter? Because obviously he missed a lot of the year to begin with, had the injury, first round pick.
Knee touches.
Right. But now with the way the roster is after the All-Star, I mean, where does he fit in on this roster right now is my question.
A big time question because, you know, Markelle Fultz is bringing an element that we haven't had.
Right.
a point guard that does the dirty work.
Right. I mean, it's clear that Fultz
Yes.
is in the rotation over Devin Carter.
And nice size, long length, solidified, bona fide NBA player. Devin Carter needs touches.
Yeah.
That's why they're sending him back down to the G League to where he can play, be able to run and be able to make mistakes without consequences.
Yeah.
Because when you turn the basketball over with the Kings now, every turnover is almost scrutinized because there's so many of them.
Right. Yeah. It's all amplified.
Right.
Sure.
So he can go down to the G League and make all the turnovers and all the mistakes he wants and get all the touches that he needs.
No doubt. He needs that. Obviously, it's been kind of a lost rookie year for him starting out on the injured list and all those types of things. So, but right now, bottom line, it's about the Kings winning games and trying to make sure they're in the play-in or the playoff.
Right. So those little mistakes that he would make, that he would be up with the big A team, gets magnified. So send him down to the G League and just let him play, let him get acclimated.
Yep. All right, let's break down tonight. As we know, no John Collins, no Marketing, no Sexton. You still have Kessler. You still have Jordan Clarkson. What do you make of the matchups tonight?
Scooter, I would love to see the Kings start on the inside out. I would love to see them play old school basketball. We know that the Kings outside Arsenal is the number one option. It's the number one thing that they like getting going. But let's start off trying to go down low, trying to go to the big men. See if you can establish something down low to where just in case the 3-point isn't there, you could still be able to score and generate buckets.
All right, I like that. What did you make of Doug Christie saying in the postgame that he wants to see this team put up 50 every night, 50 3-pointers?
I'm kind of like this with the 3-point shot. I'm kind of like read and react because it makes no difference if you take 50 and you only hit 10.
Yeah.
If you're knocking them down, take them. But if you're struggling from the 3-point line and you're coming down shooting 3 after 3 after 3 after 3 and you're not making any and your opponent is going down getting 2, next thing you know is like, okay, you're down 12, 16, 14, 18 points and that 3-point shot still isn't there to bring you back.
No doubt. Now, Doug, he's just got these metrics like 30 assists is kind of what he wants to see every night. And that's obviously a sign of moving the ball well. But that number of 50, if that's a goal, I mean, I'm just curious with this team, the way you see it, do you think that's realistic?
Scott, we've had, for me,
yeah.
Now, Doug can have his own, he coaches the team, whatever Doug says, go. But for me, I've seen too many games to where we've shot 33s and only hit 7, 8, 9. And it really doesn't help you as a basketball team. I just want to see the team shoot at a high percentage, period, whether it's 2 or 3. Now, if you're shooting at a high percentage, keep shooting the basketball. That's what you do.
Well, they made 20 of them on Monday night, 20 of 38. You'll take that percentage any night.
I'll take that any day, all day. But let's flip the script, Scott.
Yeah.
If you shoot it 40 times and you only make 8, does that help you? I think that puts you more so a deficit than anything else.
All right, that's going to do it for game night. The Kings starting the 4-game road trip tonight in Utah. Kings Live pregame coming up next. 6 o'clock tip from the Delta Center. G-Man with the call. Keep it tuned. We've got you covered all evening long. Sacramento Kings basketball right here on Sacktown Sports 1140.
Let's get it.
Domantas Sabonis plays here.
He finds Sabonis. Put the frosting on the cake. Put the cherry.